5 subsection 6, which states that there should be balance in party representation for these various committees. Definitely, to my observation, there is total imbalance for party representation on this or in these 8 committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Honourable Member for Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Ma. I have the belief that during the selection process, various members in various committees were not selected randomly like that. I cannot say much about the way in which they were selected, but I have the belief that certain factors were considered during the selection process. And considering those factors, individual members being part of 7 committees, it doesn't matter. If the individual meets those requirements, the individual can be in the 7 committees, to me. But what we need to consider is that being in a particular party, you want to have equal representation in various committees. To me, I think it cannot be. Because imagine, in a particular party, you are having 31 members or seats. Can you compare that individual with somebody who is having 25 seats? Can those people be balanced? To me, actually, it cannot be balanced. What is important here is
consisting of 5 members also. All right, that one is there is balance. Then you go to number 4, the ECOWAS Parliament, ECOWAS, consisting of 5 members. If you look at it properly, you'll understand that no APRC and GDC representation there. Go to number 5, the Parliamentary Union of the OIC. There too, consisting of 5 members, no APRC and GDC representation. Go to page 7 of Committee 6. Excuse me, Madam. The Interparliamentary Union, IPU, consisting of 5 members. That one too, no GDC representation. We go to number 7, the African Parliamentary Union, APU, no APRC representation there. So I'm suggesting that, Madam Speaker, this thing to be reviewed. Thank you, Ma, for giving me the floor.
Can we have the Honourable Member for All Union?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ma, for giving me the floor. Although my point has been highlighted, but only to buttress from what Honourable Member have just said. Looking at the composition of these particular selections in the various committees, you realize that, as the Honourable Member for Nyamina said earlier on, the composition in the House is 31 versus 5. If you look at the international parliamentary select committees, you have about 7 or 8 of them, in which members from various parties are represented. And then if you believe they cannot represent in all the selection committees, if one is represented in one of the committees, the other person should be represented in the other committee, and which has been done already. I have gone through it and I have seen that. His point, I'm not saying is not valid, but then it has been represented as in my own point of view, and it is not a question of looking at parties representing in these various committees, but looking at the individuals' capability in these various committees and what they can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Member for Lower Nyomi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. The points that I wanted to raise had already been dealt with, but notwithstanding, I wanted us to be very mindful about how we are going about the observations that we are making. We look to be more partisan in our observations than we are being using our consensus, as earlier alluded by the Banjul North representative. Let's look at who should be, not which party should be. The selection as given the credence by the selection committee. Let's try to recognize the efforts. I'm sure if it were any one of us inside that room, we would have been subjected to the same thing. Let's reach a point where we can draw a line and say this is what we are finally going to do. Because the comments are going from individuals to parties, not reflecting the desired objectives. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Member.
There are committees set in place by the Constitution and also giving the power of the Assembly to constitute another committees. But the committees that are stipulated by the Constitution does not feature in all the discussions, which the Standing Order Committee is part of it. So I commended him for bringing that up, and I urge the selection committee to go into that and look at the Standing Order Committee. And I also want to urge and remind everybody that we don't have problems because we are deliberating on Constitution and a Standing Order of the former. There is no changes. And we all came to the Parliament with fresh ideas that we want to change. So those changes will have obstacles because of the governments we found in place. So I urge, if there is a Standing Order Committee, we do some changes in the Standing Order, then our work will be obstacle-free. And I also want to applaud the Honorable Member for Willie East and Kunye Kansala for showing themselves, because I think that's what we should do. If you see yourself being selected or put into a committee where you know that you cannot perform, you just raise up an issue and say, I think I'll be better in this if I can be moved from the other one. That is better. And also I want to put to everybody that basically, I think we are seeing each other as members of two groups, but not political parties. Majority group and minority group. I think that's why the selection was done. So in a group or in a committee where you have a political party from the minority side, within a committee
should be part of the standing committee and previously selected somebody, a committee member should be dropped. I don't know where he lies to that. How can that be happening? In this assembly here, based on, you said based on qualification, who among that committee, I want to say, is not qualified to be among the standing committee or appointed committee? It has not been mentioned in the standing order that after when the selection has already been done, somebody has been already selected and to be dropped and replaced by somebody. It can only be done on that. This maybe whether the individual can make a request, but it cannot just be, you cannot come with that proposal that also somebody should be deleted from there and replaced because of, understand, Mr. X is more experienced or expertise. We have not seen any qualification of somebody who is an expertise on the constitution or the understanding what I hear. So that is the observation I have for his.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The nominated member here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. We've had several discussions in regards to party representation. I would just like to shift the focus a little bit on gender representation. If you look at the composition of this parliament, we're highly underrepresented. We're just 6 of us, 3 elected, 3 nominated, and then various studies have demonstrated that gender diversity gender diverse and representative teams are more effective and clever than those with limited gender and diversity. So I would just want the selection committee to take this into consideration, because going through the list of the committees, there are certain committees that have no female member representative in the committee. Let me just, give me a minute, I noted it somewhere. If you look at committee number 15, the Select Committee on Tourism, Art, Culture, Youth and Sports, there is no female representative. 16 as well, Select Committee to monitor the implementation of government projects, there is no woman. Also, the Committee on Environment, Sustainable Development and NGO Affairs, there is no single member. And this I find very interesting. The Select Committee on Health, Women, Children, Refugee, Disaster and Humanitarian Relief. If you look at this committee, it consists of 12 members. I think it would only be fair if 6 of these members were women, because these are issues that directly affect us more: health, women, children, refugee, and disaster. I had a discussion with Honorable Yasin prior to the sitting, and she said, if something is for us, then put us in it. And I think, yes, nothing for us without us. So I think it is very important that at least 5 or 6 of members are women in this committee. I would also like to refer this August Assembly to the provision of the Constitution that says section 2115(5), economic objectives, 215, section 215, subsection 5. It says the state shall endeavor to ensure equal opportunity and full participation of women in the economic development of the country. And if you look at the committees that are dealing in development,
standing order, because there are issues that really need attention as far as the standing order are concerned to me. Thank you.
We've taken note. Central Balibu.
Thank you, Ma, for giving me the floor. I would like to thank my colleagues for the contribution that they have made. The adjournment of the meeting of yesterday was in the right step, in the right direction, because we can all witness the improvements and the suggestions that have been made by the honorable men and women. All right. I have few observations, and I want the committee to look at those ones critically and help us to be feasible in the committees. Since it's a requirement, since it's a constitutional provision, like the Standing Order Committee, the Standing Committee of Privileges, these two should be featured in, because they are stated in the Constitution and in the standing order as well. Now, when we come to gender representation, I concur with my honorable member that representation of women in the communities is highly needed. Whether it's done in a balanced base or not, but there are certain international organizations we need women to represent the country in order to build the image of the nation, in order to promote gender sensitivity. And if you look at the country at large, we also need people who are with clear mind to be in the international organizations as well. Because this country, we need to do a lot of image building when it comes to international relations. 22 years, our image to the outside world was not clear, was not good in short. So we need people who will represent the nation to build up our image, to ensure that we become part of renowned organizations that Gambia can get something at the end of the day. Now, when we come to the other organizations in the country or the committees, I think the formation of committees should not be only based on experience, not the CV, but proper scrutiny of our documents. To see to it that anybody who is put in a particular committee, you are fit. Because we are here representing the whole country. Tomorrow the list will be out, and it's open to public scrutiny and criticism. The committee, they have done a wonderful job, but I believe there is room for adjustment. So therefore, I would like to thank the Speaker and the committee to look at these two things. That is the Standing Order Committee and the Standing Committee of Privileges to be part and to create a committee for it. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I just want to exhaust my list first. The Honorable Member for Joshua. And I would like to remind Honorable Members that we had moved the motion to extend the time to 2 o'clock. And if my work is right, it's almost 1:30, and there's another agenda item. So
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. Most of my points have been addressed, but I would like to just reiterate the need not to repeat what somebody has already mentioned or suggested. I think barring the contribution of those two honorable members, nominated members, I think every other issue has been mentioned once or twice before. So we've made a lot of comments, we've made a lot of recommendations. I think it's time to try and deal with those recommendations and answer the questions that we've already asked, rather than going to repeat the same issues that we have discussed for the past 2 hours.
Mentioned, has already been mentioned, but I think we need to look at it again. Otherwise, there is going to be a conflict sooner or later when members who are put into all these committees have to meet at the same time, or when they have to do a certain work at the same time. And that is going to affect the efficiency of this assembly. The selection, which is based on 75(6) of the Constitution, which talks about the balance in the National Assembly, has already been mentioned. I would like to add that we need to be realistic when we talk about some of these issues. We are not equal in terms of numbers. Some parties have more representatives in this National Assembly than others. So to say or to think that we can be equally placed in all these committees, I think that one is far-fetched. That's not realistic. Of course, I would like to urge the committee to look at this document again and make sure that they try as much as possible to make sure that no party
is disadvantaged when it comes to distributing them among these parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I just want to make something clear, and I'm directing to you, but to also for the benefit of my honorable assembly members. I do not think it is correct to say that there is any member who appears 9 times in the committee list. I do not think that this is correct. The reason they might appear those number of times might be clearly stipulated in the Constitution and also on standing orders. For example, it is stated in Standing Order 84 that the Advisory Standing Committee shall consist of the Speaker as the chairperson, and then the minority leader and the majority leader shall select. And obviously, if they can select, they have to sit in that committee before, I assume, before they can select. And most of these committees, if the minority leader, if the majority leader sits on them, then the minority leader must also sit on them to represent the minority in the assembly. I think that is a point that should be noted. That might be the reason why they would appear in so many of these committees. And I would also need to direct you to the International Parliamentary